7 countries that could have been absorbed into the Soviet Union. 1. Finland. Stalin made no secret of his plans for Finland. After the Winter War of 1939, parts of Finland were occupied. In 1940, these territories were renamed the Karelo-Finnish Soviet Republic. The USSR expected to annex the rest of Finland, but that plan failed. The republic was abolished in 1956. Today, it's simply called Karelia and is part of Russia. 2. Mongolia. Mongolia was the second socialist nation after Russia. In 1921, Soviet troops invaded it to help secure the revolution. The occupation lasted until 1924. After World War II, Stalin insisted on Mongolian independence from China. However, he declined to annex it. Stalin preferred to keep it as a buffer against China. 3. Iran. The Soviet Union and Britain jointly invaded Iran in 1941. This was known as Operation Countenance. The idea was to prevent Iran from becoming pro-German. The British left after the war, but the Russians didn't. They set up 2 breakaway republics in Iran. One was Azerbaijani, the other Kurdish. Soviet troops were ready to occupy the entire country, but under pressure from the Allies, Stalin relented. He withdrew the Soviet troops in exchange for oil concessions. 4. Turkey. After World War II, Moscow laid official territorial claims against Turkey. The Soviet leadership needed access to the Bosphorus Strait. They planned to annex the lands that once belonged to the Russian Empire. The creation of a Turkish Socialist Republic wasn't even considered. The occupied lands would be divided between Soviet Georgia and Armenia. However, the plan met resistance from the US and the UK. It drove Turkey to join NATO. Moscow officially renounced its claims after Stalin's death in 1953. 5. Poland. The Bolsheviks went to war with Poland as early as 1919. Moscow planned to annex the western provinces of the former Russian Empire. This was the minimum plan for the Red Army. Poland was considered a perfect staging area for exporting the revolution. The plan failed initially, but was revived in 1939. Stalin annexed the Polish provinces, expelling all Poles. They became parts of Belarus and Ukraine. 6. Romania. In 1924, a part of southern Ukraine was made an autonomous republic. It was named the Moldavian Autonomous Soviet Socialist Republic. There was no historical precedent for this, but Moscow really wanted to capture oil-rich Romania. Moldavians were ethnic Romanians in Soviet Ukraine. It took until 1940 for the plan to be partially realized. The Soviet Union annexed Bessarabia from Romania. The autonomous republic expanded into a constituent Moldavian Republic. The rest of Romania remained independent. However, the Soviets made sure it became a socialist state. The former Moldavian Republic is now known as Moldova. 7. China. Of course, the Soviet Union never tried to annex all of China, but it had several territorial disputes with it. The Soviet invasion of Xinjiang stands out. A massive military force entered the province in 1934. It was controlled by Soviet puppet Chiang Kai, but Chiang was barely holding on against the Kuomintang, so a 7,000-strong Red Army force was sent to prop him up. Despite superiority in tanks, artillery, and aircraft, the Soviets lost. They took heavy casualties and were forced to withdraw. In 1944, the Socialist East Turkestan Republic was proclaimed in Xinjiang. However, its existence was even shorter-lived. Despite Soviet support,